I feel like this one could be a little divisive. Obviously, The Boys season 4 has come and gone.
Yeah, fucking cunts.
You fucking cunts. And man, I first of all, I'll preface this by saying, and I know a lot of the folks that hang out with us and watch the show are the same way, man. We all love The Boys.
Mm-hmm.
We really enjoyed The Boys. Up into, everything that's happened up to this season, a lot of high expectations for this season, considering we found out that season 5 will be the finale.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of expectations. I don't think this was the best season of The Boys.
I would agree.
But it did just enough to kind of keep me interested and sets up what I hope will be an explosive final season.
Sure.
I mean, the table is set for it, I think. But man, I just felt like this season it was a lot of spinning of the wheels and going through all these efforts, through all these scenarios, not to get like a big payoff at the end of each episode. It was just like, okay, I felt like that was a lot of effort for very little payout.
Yeah.
And it was like that for many of the episodes. I think it was episode 3, might have been the worst episode of The Boys I've seen to date. It was the one where we're at that convention with the guy with all the twins. And they spent most of the time at the convention. I was just like, I remember after that episode, I was like, this was probably the weakest episode I've seen of The Boys, to date. And it's just, man, they just spent a lot of time doing certain things that just dragged out way too long, and I didn't get what I was hoping I would get out of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, I mean, again, it was enough. I'm excited for the final season. I think that there's going to be some awesome things that are going to happen. I feel like we're going to have, there's going to be way more at stake next season. I feel there's going to be more emotional gut punches. We're going to lose some characters.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this was not the best season of The Boys, and I feel like it just wasn't super compelling.
No, I feel the same way. I don't, a bad Boys season is probably still a better season than other shows we've watched, right? But I definitely feel like this for me wasn't, as high caliber as the rest. Kimiko is one of my favorite characters. I really want, I just think she's badass. So I want more of that character. And hey, you did get something out of this one. You got to see Aaron Moriarty's butt. You got to see Starlight's butt out of this season. Out of nowhere, really, really random. But it just as the season progressed, and there was a couple of really good episodes, and the whole character that was like Batman and the Robin thing was out of control and very Boys, and it was very entertaining due to that. But every episode just kept feeling like the season was dragging more and more. Like Butcher wasn't around enough, and his storyline, what he was doing, was still similar, but it just didn't feel as I know he's sick now, but it just
felt dragged out. It was just dragging
right.
out the same arc for his character.
Right.
Okay, yeah, he's kind of a piece of shit now and he's losing it, but it never really did anything big with it until the final episode.
Right.
I was okay.
And then for a while you didn't realize that he was not all there. The people he was talking to, you knew the one, but then he started Jay Hill was the first kind of chime in on that. I don't think this dude's really there or something like that, and yes, of course. Yeah, Brittany was very excited that Kimiko and Frenchie finally became an item because they've been beating around that bush too. But which is weird because of where Frenchie was prior in that season with all his shit going on too.
I felt like Frenchie's whole arc this season could have been really good. With the guilt that he was carrying and all that shit and a lot of the stuff, the struggles that he was dealing with. But then he checked himself in the police station for an episode and a half and just completely removed himself. I'm like,
right.
What?
And it by the time he came back, it felt like he was gone a season for some weird reason.
Well, it almost seemed like everything that he was that was bothering him and Liam had it just seemed like it wasn't even on his mind once he got on ahead. They're like, here, work on this serum. He's like, oh, okay. And it was just so we're just moving. He's just okay. He just spent a couple nights in the joint and he's just, I'm good now.
Yeah. I feel like if they'd explored more of his other background, the Russian background, that'd have been a little bit more compelling. But it was weird that they finally decided to have those two have an interest, even though it's been beaten around the. Well, actually, I thought it wasn't even that. I thought they were just a brother and sister camaraderie. So when that happened for me, I was like, whoa!
Yeah.
It was like Luke and Leia kissing and shit. Like I'm like, what the fuck? Anyways, no, I don't really have a lot to add to this because I feel like it's pretty plain and simple. It was a weak season compared to a lot of other seasons.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the episodes felt like slogs to get through, and as the season continued, it felt like a fucking anchor. Like you're trying to tread through water, and it's just dragging you down. Like you got to the end, and even the end, while all of a sudden, like, whoa, it was like it still felt anticlimactic in some ways as well too. So I hope, and I'm glad that they got a plan, knowing next season is their final, so they can come out and be prepared for that properly because they need it after this season.
I know, like I said, man, I really like the arc. I didn't like Butcher's arc through the season. Like I said, it was just kind of like the same. But I like where it's heading. Like I like where they set it up. I'm like, okay, now his character is going to be fucking really interesting and compelling going forward. But Huey's arc was depressing as fuck the whole season.
Yeah, and even she says Starlight's
story
I thought it was boring as fuck.
It was boring. And the Frenchie stuff was undercooked. Like it was just. I get it. Like the boys are dealing with a lot of their struggles, and their camaraderie and all that shit was put to the test, and things of that nature. And I get that, but it was just like, man, it just felt like, again, we just weren't making enough headway with anything.
Too much little shit going on, not enough big shit going on.
And literally, I know it's weird to say this about the boys, but I do feel like they really relied too much on the violence.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say deep fucking the octopus.
I mean, that was like honestly, man, I felt like they were more interested. And based on this season and the way the story arcs put out, they were more interested in many episodes of like, let's see how fucking gross we can get, than they were like, let's build a compelling story.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we can't do anything interesting in these characters right here. Let's fly a bunch of sheep around and have them tear people apart. It's just like, I mean, I like the violence, but it just, there's always been more than that to the boys. The violence has always been kind of like a caveat, like a little cherry on the top.
Yeah, a little cherry on the
top. The
top.
story is what usually goes, but I felt like they were just leaning way too much into it. Like, you're just trying to shock me to keep me awake through this episode. That part worked.
Honestly, I felt like parts of Homelander's story early on was more compelling than a lot of the other things that are going on. Like,
I love Homelander. Like I love his character.
But like when he went back to the people like that were like watching him when he was a kid and stuff. Like some of that shit like was like I thought he was gonna do more of a revenge tour off that, and it was just kind of like so like packaged.
Yeah, they cut away from that one.
Just one. I'm like that just I don't know.
I wish they would kind of expanded on that more.
Yeah. Like I don't know. So and there was other times where Homelander like, and I think that's the kind of bit with him is like. He's like gravitas, but he's also kind of dumb and certain doesn't like think out those things, you know. But like I don't know, just there's just more. There's just missing a lot of things.
I just love Anthony Starr's performance. That guy is just an incredible actor. The way he can convey so many different emotions on Homelander's face, like when you can tell he's enraged, it's fucking incredible. Mm-hmm. Like, oh yeah, still need more info on the Gen V kids. Like the Gen V kids were there
like
for 2 episodes.
In there too.
No, they were in for 2 episodes for like minutes.
Yeah.
You know, they showed up like in episode I think 6 or what? How many episodes was there? There was a total of 6, I think it was. Anyways, like they showed up for like one episode for like 5 minutes, and then they showed up at the end of the final episode. I was like, come on, man.
Yeah.
They gotta play a bigger part in this, and maybe they will in the final season. I mean, who knows?
Maybe, or this book closes, the other book opens, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, we do know we're getting another Gen V season before seasons 5 of The Boys.
Are we?
Yeah,
okay.
We're getting another Gen V season.
Okay. Well, there you go.
And there's a couple other spin-offs that are in the work as well. So I mean, they're going to expand upon the universe, but
don't overstay your welcome. But I'm here for it. Don't get me wrong.
Man, take your time with this last season, man. Make it compelling. Make it like meaningful. Give me a fucking story that raises the stakes, that puts everybody in jeopardy, and look, I want the violence, just don't make that the main thing.
Right. We like to see many people in pee-pee holes too.
I like all that shit, but I want it to just be kind of an appetizer to like the main story. Like just
tentacle fucking
is always hot too. But we want to get your thoughts on the Boys season 4. What did you think of it? What were some of the highlights? Were there any lowlights? Is there anything that you're hoping to see in season 5? Any theories about what's going to happen? I think Jay Hill was right when he told me earlier in the season. He was like, I think Butcher's going to become a big bad. And I mean,
I think Omni-Man's going to show up and fuck everybody else up.
Omni-Man. This universe can continue though after the story ends, and so many more things can happen.
Correct.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm glad that they're doing that, but this is the series that started it all for me. I need this one. If you want me to be interested in the other stuff, this one has to end on a high note. If you want me to continue buying into it,
Yeah.
I need the main OG to be
Right.
to deliver.
It
the
only
goods.
took him like 3 years to watch it because we kept yelling at him.
And
but
hey,
yes.
and like,
And you got
I'm glad you
hooked.
did because I do. Those
Now-
first 3
yeah.
episodes were fucking awesome.
But now we need to stick the landing for you too because we made you watch this fucking
Right.
shit.
Yeah,
so-
I don't want to be like, this is bullshit. You guys have me
Yeah,
watch this
now,
stuff.
Now we're all in trouble.
But yeah, let us know in the comments what you thought of The Boys season 4. We definitely want to hear from you.
Yes.